A Marine on Guadalcanal wrote home in 1942, "This bar I have here is my best friend. I take better care of it than I do myself." Japanese forces learned to fear the sound of that weapon more than anything else on the battlefield. The Browning automatic rifle didn't just give American forces an advantage. It gave them overwhelming firepower that the enemy couldn't match, couldn't counter, and couldn't survive. This is the story of the gun that changed infantry combat forever. The M19 18A2 Browning automatic rifle weighed 20 pounds fully loaded and fired 30 .06 Springfield rounds at 550 rounds per minute. That's the same cartridge used in sniper rifles, delivering devastating power with every shot. The weapon could switch between semi-automatic for precision fire and full automatic for suppression. Marines could dump a 20-round magazine in 3 seconds or take careful aimed shots at distant targets. The bar replaced the absolute disaster that was the French Chauchat from World War I, and soldiers treated the upgrade like someone had handed them a gift from heaven. This wasn't just reliable. It was the kind of weapon you could bury in mud, drag through a river, and it would still fire when you needed it most. Henderson Field, Guadalcanal, October 24, 1942. 3,000 Japanese troops launched a human wave attack against a thin line of exhausted Marines. Gunnery Sergeant John Basilone commanded 2 sections of heavy machine guns, but when those positions were overrun, he grabbed a bar and held the line alone. For 2 days and nights, Japanese forces threw themselves at his position. Basilone fired until the barrels glowed red-hot, burning his hands so badly the skin came off in sheets. He killed 38 enemy soldiers in a single night, moving between positions, reloading in the dark and refusing to fall back even when the situation looked hopeless. The bar gave him the firepower to do what should have been impossible. He received the Medal of Honor and became a legend, but he credited the weapon as much as his own courage. Marines stripped their bars down for jungle warfare, removing the bipod and sometimes even the flash hider to save weight. That 20 pounds felt like 50 after humping through thick vegetation in 100-degree heat. Squads positioned bar gunners at the front and rear of patrols because when contact came in the jungle, it came fast and close. The automatic rifleman could break contact instantly, laying down enough fire to let the squad maneuver or retreat. Japanese Type 96 light machine guns were more accurate on paper, but they needed a crew to move and set up. One Marine with a bar could respond in seconds, and that speed saved lives on every single island. The Marine Corps understood something the Army took years to figure out. Standard Army squads got 1 bar. Marine rifle squads had 3. The Corps built fire team tactics around this. One team would fire while the other reloaded, creating continuous suppression that never let up. Japanese forces couldn't rush positions when bullets were always coming. They couldn't maneuver when every time they moved, another BR opened up. This leapfrog technique meant American squads could advance under their own covering fire without waiting for support. The sound of multiple bars firing in sequence became the soundtrack of Marine victories across the Pacific. Combat veterans swore the bar was more effective than 6 riflemen with M1 Garands combined. The psychological impact was massive. Japanese troops hesitated when they heard that distinctive sound, and hesitation in combat means death. With the bipod attached, skilled shooters could hit targets at 1,000 yards, taking out enemy snipers who thought they were safe. One Marine described firing it on full automatic as feeling superhuman, like he had the power of an entire squad in his hands. The weapon gave average soldiers the ability to do extraordinary things. It turned defensive positions into fortresses and advancing squads into unstoppable forces. The bar showed up on every major island battle: Saipan, Iwo Jima, Okinawa. When Japanese forces launched banzai charges at night, screaming and rushing American lines, bar gunners broke those attacks apart. Commanders moved bar teams to weak points in the perimeter because one automatic rifleman could strengthen a position better than 5 regular riflemen. The weapon literally never slept during Pacific operations. While some Marines rested, others stayed on watch with loaded bars, ready for the attacks that always came in darkness. The muzzle flash lit up entire sections of line, and the sound echoed across islands, reminding everyone that American firepower was always awake. Being a bar gunner meant being a target. Japanese forces knew these men carried the most firepower and tried to eliminate them first. Marines wore 12-magazine belts and stuffed extra magazines in every pocket they had. Joe Buchayet took a grenade fragment through his left eye on Saipan but refused evacuation. He stayed at his position, firing his bar one-handed while blood poured down his face, and killed 4 more Japanese soldiers before finally accepting medical treatment. These men knew the life expectancy of an automatic rifleman was shorter than a regular rifleman, but they carried the weapon anyway because their brothers needed that firepower to survive. The bar gunner was always the most important man in the squad. Korea proved the bar wasn't just a Pacific War weapon. When Chinese forces launched human wave attacks at the Chosin Reservoir in sub-zero temperatures, rifles froze and machine guns jammed. Bars kept firing. The weapon's simple design and robust construction meant it functioned when everything else failed. Marines used it throughout the Korean War, and it showed up in Vietnam, carried by American troops and Allied forces. For 50 years, the Browning automatic rifle defined what American infantry firepower looked like. Modern soldiers who get the chance to fire one at ranges always come away impressed. This was designed in 1917, and it still feels powerful today. From the trenches of France to the jungles of Vietnam, the BAR earned its reputation the hard way. It didn't fail when soldiers needed it most. It gave Marines the confidence to charge when others would have stayed in their holes. Japanese forces couldn't match it, couldn't counter it, and learned to fear the sound of it above everything else. The weapon shaped Marine Corps tactics that are still used today. John Basilone trusted it with his life on Guadalcanal and lived to tell the story. Thousands of other Marines trusted it and came home because of that trust. The Browning automatic rifle wasn't just a gun, it was the reason American infantry could go toe-to-toe with anyone and win.